In this video, we journey through the picturesque Alpes-Maritimes of southeastern France, beginning on the Mediterranean coast at Nice. From here, we follow the scenic Route de Grenoble, which traces the Var River northward through dramatic gorges and alpine valleys until reaching the fortress village of Entrevaux. Rising proudly above the banks of the Var River, this fortified town stands as a striking reminder of France's medieval past. After incursions by Saracens and the destruction of the old town of Glandèves, which had become a bishopric by the 6th century, the more defensible medieval town of Entrevaux was founded in the 11th century. It rose on a rocky spur at the bend of the river, with its earliest recorded name, incursions, dating to 1040. Between 1481 and 1487, Provence was incorporated into the Kingdom of France. In 1536, during the wars between François I of France and Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, Entrevaux was seized by imperial troops after its lord, Jacques de Glandèves, betrayed the town. Many inhabitants were massacred, but the survivors rose in revolt, killed the imperial governor, and offered the town to the French Dauphin, the future King Henri II. In gratitude, François I granted Entrevaux the municipal charter of Avignon, declared it a royal town, and exempted its inhabitants from certain taxes. By the 16th century, the bishop's seat at Glandèves Cathedral had been abandoned, and a new cathedral was built within Entrevaux itself, though it remained formally the episcopal seat of the Bishop of Glandèves. This is the renowned military engineer Sébastien Vauban, who in 1690 devised plans to reinforce Entrevaux's defences, recognizing its strategic role guarding the Var Valley and the frontier with Savoy. The principal entrance to the town, known today as the Porte Royale, was constructed in 1658, well before Vauban's arrival. This fortified bridge, complete with towers and a portcullis, spanned the Var River, serving both as a defensive gateway and as the symbolic threshold into Entrevaux. Although Vauban's designs were never fully implemented, the citadel crowning the town was significantly strengthened, particularly on its more vulnerable flank, and a secure covered walkway was built climbing the mountain slope. Two smaller forts were also added, while the main gates, today known as the Porte d'Italie and the Porte de France, were reinforced to better protect the approaches. In June 1707, during the War of the Spanish Succession, Entrevaux withstood a brief siege by Savoyard forces under Chevalier Blaignac before being relieved by French troops. The citadel remained in military use for centuries and was last used during the First World War, when it housed German officers as prisoners of war. In 2009, the former Diocese of Glandèves was restored in name as a Latin titular see of episcopal rank, now bearing the modern title of Entrevaux. Guarded by imposing stone ramparts and accessed through monumental gates and a drawbridge, this historic village was designed to withstand centuries of conflict. High above the town, the citadel of Entrevaux clings dramatically to the rocky ridge, accessible only by a steep zigzagging path that rewards the climb with sweeping views over the valley. From its vantage point, one can admire the serpentine course of the Var River as it carves its way through rugged terrain. The Var River rises in the Maritime Alps at an altitude of over 1,700 meters. Flowing for about 114 kilometers, it carves a rugged course southward through narrow gorges and alpine valleys before finally emptying into the Mediterranean Sea near Nice. The river is famed for its dramatic scenery. Its upper reaches tumble through wild, rocky landscapes of larch and pine, while downstream it cuts through striking gorges where sheer red cliffs of oxidized rock form one of the most remarkable natural spectacles in Provence. Historically, the Var has served both as a natural frontier and as a vital communication route. For centuries it marked the boundary between Provence and the county of Nice, and later between France and the Duchy of Savoy, making it strategically significant in times of conflict. During our visit, Entrevaux was filled with large paper birds. Crafted from folded white paper and attached on near-invisible fish lines. As part of the art event The Valley of Birds, giant origami cranes were suspended above the streets, bridges, and squares. We walk back through Entrevaux's cobbled lanes and soon reach the bridge at the town's exit, protected by a gate. Part of the bridge is a drawbridge, a chained wooden structure that can be raised using a counterweight, allowing it to serve as a defensive barrier. Dom pulls on the chain, trying to lift the drawbridge, but it is too heavy for him, especially with him standing on it. When raised, the drawbridge leaves a gap at the end of the stone bridge, forming a gatehouse with a portcullis. This sliding gate could be securely closed during an attack or siege, trapping enemies in the narrow space. From above, defenders could target the trapped attackers with arrows through arrow slits or by dropping burning wood and heated sand through so-called murder holes in the gatehouse roof. Back outside, Dom refreshes himself with water from a public well in Place Louis Moreau, located just in front of the Porte Royale. Upstream of Entrevaux, the road passes beneath a pair of aqueducts known as the Elephant Bridges. Built in the early 20th century, they serve a vital purpose, channeling rainwater and mountain torrents safely across the route before discharging it into the Var River below. In the alpine foothills, where heavy downpours or melting snow can trigger flash floods, these sturdy aqueducts protect the railway and roadway from being eroded or swept away. Heading westward, the road follows the upper valley of the Var River through a landscape of rugged cliffs and forested slopes. The route meanders through small villages and hamlets, with glimpses of the river below and terraced fields clinging to the hillsides. As the valley narrows, the road gradually climbs, opening wider views of the surrounding pre-alpine peaks. We soon reach Anneau, famous for the Grès d'Anneau, spectacular sandstone formation shaped over millions of years. Here, vast blocks of ochre-colored rock rise dramatically above wooded slopes, forming gorges, caves, and boulder fields. The site is popular with hikers and climbers, who follow a network of trails and routes through this otherworldly landscape. We, however, are only passing through, and with darkness approaching, can do little more than admire the rugged formations from a distance. We are now on the road to Grenoble. The scenery shifts from narrow canyons to the ever higher peaks of the southern Alps. To the south, the road follows the Glandèves River for much of the way, winding through valleys framed by rugged slopes and alpine forests. We make regular stops along the way to take in the overwhelming scenery. By the time we reach Lac de Castillon, darkness is already falling. Fed by the Verdon River, this striking reservoir lies nestled in the Prealps of Upper Provence. Its vivid turquoise waters stretch across a narrow valley, reflecting the surrounding mountains and creating a landscape that is at once serene and dramatic. From a distance, we see the lights of Saint-André-les-Alpes, a small town nestled on the northern shore of the lake, where the Verdon Valley opens into a broad basin created in 1948 by damming the Verdon River. Surrounded by the peaks of the Prealps de Digne, the town sits at about 900 meters above sea level and serves as both a gateway to the Verdon Gorge and a crossroads between the Mediterranean south and the Alpine north. Still in need of a place to sleep, we continue on to Sisteron, arriving around midnight. The hilltop citadel glows softly in the darkness, its illuminated walls standing out against the night sky. Perched dramatically atop a rocky promontory overlooking the Durance River, the Sisteron Citadel dominates the town with its commanding presence. In the morning, we continue our scenic route through Garde-Colombe. Nestled within the Buëch Valley, this area consists of rugged peaks and rolling hills. The area is marked by dramatic river gorges, where clear waters are winding through steep cliffs and lush vegetation. The Buëch River meanders through the valley, supporting fertile lands and diverse wildlife. We pause briefly on a bridge over the Buëch River, near the town of Serres. With its mix of alpine and Mediterranean flora and fauna, Garde-Colombe offers breathtaking landscapes, tranquil rivers, and endless opportunities for hiking, climbing, and exploring the outdoors. From here, we continue our journey, passing through the area of Laulay, in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, surrounded by rolling hills and forested slopes typical of this region. We stop to take photos, film the scenery, and enjoy a short hike along the rolling meadows. The hills are dotted with wildflowers and offer sweeping views of the surrounding valleys, making it the perfect spot to pause and appreciate the landscape. We walk along a gravel path, the summer sun warm on our shoulders. Despite being just meters from the main road, a serene quietness surrounds us, the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, the occasional chirp of birds, and the soft crunch of gravel underfoot. The contrast between the peaceful trail and the distant hum of traffic creates a surprising sense of calm. Having followed the gravel path downhill for a while, we were met by the strong smell of human waste left by previous travelers, which forced us to turn back prematurely. The scenery is just so much more enjoyable without the unpleasant smells. We pause at a train viaduct, and across the street, the hilltop village of Percy comes into view. Its church tower rises at the center, surrounded by rolling hills, meadows, and forests, creating a picture-perfect scene framed by the natural beauty of the region. A little further, we spot two classic trucks, one a 1979 Scania 141, the other a 1963 Scania Vauban 76 series. Finally, we arrive at the Rhône River in Jons. The Rhône River, one of Europe's major rivers, originates from the Rhône Glacier in the Swiss Alps and flows southwest through Lake Geneva before entering France near Lyon. Stretching some 813 kilometers, it passes major cities including Lyon, Avignon, and Arles, before reaching the Mediterranean Sea through its delta in the Camargue, a unique wetland home to flamingos, wild horses, and other wildlife. Here, the Miribel Canal runs alongside the river, crossed by a charming covered bridge, a quaint, historic structure that catches the eye with its wooden beams and traditional design.